By now, absolutely everyone has heard of Netflix, and when we have the time to settle down and relax by ourselves or with our family, turning on a new Netflix show is one of our most popular choices. This is not by mistake. Netflix has spent years investing and perfecting their content, their user interface and experience, and even their landing pages to entice you to sign up. So it may be a good idea to pay attention to what they are doing and test out some of their ideas. In this video, I'll walk you through how to build a Netflix landing page clone with WordPress. We will use the feature-packed drag and drop page builder called SeedProd, the #1 choice for landing page builders for WordPress. Before we get started, please take a quick moment to subscribe to the SeedProd channel so we can continue to bring you up-to-date information and tutorials. The SeedProd team and I love having you part of the community. All right, let's get started. So I'm actually really excited for this video. I really like creating and designing with SeedProd, and SeedProd really makes it simple to create the pages that you want quickly and easily. So this is the page that we're going to create. So I'm actually located in Canada, so I have the Canadian landing page that you'll see here, and everything that we see on this Netflix page we will be adding and creating with SeedProd. So the only thing that I'm not going to add is this little drop down menu for the English or French language. So the first thing I did was actually download the images already. So I have different versions of these images. These are animated GIFs. I just took little screenshots of them to get a quick copy of those. So other than that, all we need is a version of SeedProd to get started. So let's head over to seedprod.com, or you can click the link in the description below, and you can click the button here to get started with SeedProd. Select one of the plans and create an account. Once you have an account with SeedProd, let's go ahead and click on Login. On the left-hand side, I'm going to add my email address, my password, and we're going to click on Login. Now that we logged in, we have some tabs up here. Let's go to the Downloads tab. That's the second one. And I'm going to click on the button here, the big button on the right, to download the actual plugin. Next, let's click the license key here. We have a little icon. We can click that, and it'll copy it to our clipboard, or you can just select it and copy it. We can close this window for now, and then we can come over to our WordPress dashboard so you can log into your WordPress website if you haven't done so already. Then on the left hand side we have plugins, and we want to go to add new. Up top we want to go to upload plugin, and then we want to choose the file that we just downloaded. If you're using the same or similar browser that I am, you can actually just click this and drag it right onto that button, and you can see it here. Otherwise, click on the choose file button and browse to the file to select it on your hard drive. Let's go ahead and install now and activate plugin. Next, let's paste that license key right here and verify key. If everything went well, you should see a green success message up in the top right corner. If you're using the same browser or similar, we can close this tab on the bottom right. And there we go. We have SeedProd completely installed and ready to go. So let's get started. On the left-hand side, we have the SeedProd menu. Let's click on Pages. And we have these different modes that we can use, but we want to create a landing page. So on the bottom, let's go ahead and create a new landing page. Now, SeedProd comes with over 100 plus professionally designed templates that you can just click on and import, and these will give you a really good head start. But we actually want to create a blank template. That's just the first one here. So we'll click on this, and we'll just give it a quick name. I'm going to call mine Netflix, and let's save and start editing the page. So just a quick disclaimer here, please do not copy Netflix and then go and use that for your own landing pages. Please make sure you replace your content, your wording, and update it so it's suitable for your specific business or situation. The last thing you want is to get in trouble by using the Netflix graphics or their name or any of their trademark catchphrases. This video is just to break down specifically how to create pages like this, and then you can take them and make them your own. So here we're presented with the actual SeedProd page builder. On the right hand side, this is where we'll see the visual layout and graphics of our page, and on the left hand side we have our blocks. So we have our standard blocks. These are our headlines, our images, videos. We have advanced blocks for giveaways and countdowns and pricing tables. And then if you have WooCommerce installed to create a store, you have some blocks for that as well. So let's go ahead and actually get started with creating our page. So as we can see, we have a big background here. We have the logo in the top left, and we have a sign-in button in the top right. So let's get started with that first. So here we have this purple outline, and this is a section. And inside here, we have this little blue icon. If we click on that, we can now put rows or columns inside of this section. So as we can see, we have one logo on the left, and we have a button on the right. So it would make sense to put two columns here, and I'll just do an even. Now, as you can see, it's very far to the left and very far to the right. So we can make the width on this by clicking on the row settings, this little cogwheel. We have the width down here. We actually just want to change this with no input whatsoever. If you put a 0, it's going to cram that together. We don't want that. We don't want anything in that field whatsoever. And then on the left hand side, let's go ahead and put an image in here. And here we have a placeholder for an image. So if we click on the block settings, We can come over under image and you can use your own image. You can also use a stock image if you like. We're going to go ahead and use our own images. And I'm just going to come into the media library here, and I have a folder where I downloaded all of the graphics from that page. I'm just going to drag and drop them into here so they're all uploaded and ready to be here when I need them. So here I go. I just dragged 7 different graphics. I'm just going to upload them right into this media library, and there we go. Now for this specific image, we want to use the logo in the top left-hand corner. So I'm going to select the logo and click select. Now that is definitely much too big. I'm going to take a guess at around 130 pixels wide to resize that down. And that looks about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller. And we want this aligned to the left. And then on the right side, we had a button. So let's go ahead and open the blocks and let's put a button on the right-hand side here. Let's select the block settings for this button and let's align this to the right and just update the information on the button. So I believe it says sign in. So we can go ahead and change this to sign in. Now this would be a good time to go through our global settings. So let's go ahead and head down to the bottom left corner where the cogwheel is here and click on this. Now the global settings, these are applied to everything on our page. So these include our fonts. So right now we have Helvetica New, and for our colors, we have these set right here. So if we just take a quick look at the Netflix page, we can see that there's a black background. We have white headers. We have red buttons with white text. And I don't think there's any text links. I think there's some here on the bottom of the page here in the footer. Other than that, everything looks like it's just a button. So again, let's change our headers to all white. Let's change our text to all white. Let's change our buttons to that nice bright red. And our links we can put to that grayish color. We'll just take a quick guess for now. We can change that later if we need to. And our background color was black. There, we're already getting a little bit closer to the Netflix theme. All right, and that's all we need to do for this section. To get back to our blocks, we have this little blocks icon right here. We can click on, and now we're back onto this page. So the next thing we want to add is the headers here. So if we actually just take a quick look by right-clicking and go inspect, we can actually see the HTML on the page here on the right-hand side. Now, this whole panel here might be on the bottom for you. That's not a big deal. But we want to select this little cursor here, and this lets us highlight images and text and buttons on the page, all of the elements on the page. So if I just select this right here, we can actually see on the right-hand side, it highlights that HTML code. We can see that that is an H1. Below that, it's an H2. And then I believe this one here is an H3. We can see that right here. Let's click the X to close this. So we know that we want 3 different headers on top of each other here. And these are actually grouped together with the form field, but that's okay. We can put all of these in together. So let's add a new column in this section. So we'll just drop that right below this. And we just want a single column. So remember, this one was double and this one is now a single. So the first one is the headline. So that's this text right here, unlimited movies, TV shows, and more. So we can right click this and we can click on this and we can just update that text. Now, if we look closely, we can see that it goes on a new line after TV. So I'll just come over after TV and hit my enter key. And the font size, I'm going to guess around 50. And it looks like it does have a bit of a bold on it. So I'll just select this text and click bold. Underneath that, we want another headline. So we'll just drag that right in here. And let's grab that text, watch anywhere, cancel anytime. And we'll just update this text here. And let's say that's around 30 pixels. And that was an H2. So this was an H1 heading, this was an H2, and now we have an H3 right underneath that as well. So let's go ahead again and just change that text. We'll just select this, select this H3, make sure we update that to H3, and we'll just paste this in here. Now I'll say that font is a little bit smaller, somewhere around 20. If we compare, I think that looks pretty close, not too bad. Now if we come back to our blocks, we actually want to add an opt-in form. So we have the email address and then the get started button here for the form. So let's go ahead and we'll come down under advanced and we have the opt-in form block. Let's drag that right underneath here. Let's go ahead and select this. And we can see that it only selects the email, so we can hide the name. And then we're just left with these 2 fields here. Now I believe this is pretty big, so we'll change this to a large. And let's just take a quick look. We can see the text inside here in the placeholder is email address. And this says get started with a right chevron. Let's go ahead and update that. So under email, we can click on the settings and change this to email address. And then we can minimize this. And then we can come down under the submit button and we'll change this to get started. And here you can change the width if you like. So SeedProd is constantly adding new features. We have a great team behind the scenes that is updating SeedProd constantly with the most requested features. As of right now, we don't have the option to put the button right next to the form field without using some custom CSS. And I'm just going to keep this video as simple as possible. So what we're going to do is just keep the email form field on top of the button. So we'll put one on top of the other, just like this, but we're going to change the width. And the easiest way to do that would be to actually grab another column. And this way we can put the block inside of here, and then we could just select the row settings, and then we have the option for the width field here. So we can actually bring this down quite a bit. So let's say about 500. Now again, that's not exactly like Netflix, but I think that's pretty close, and I think it actually still looks really nice. Let's go ahead and click the block settings again, and we can see there's a little bit of an angle on the button corners here. And we don't have the options to modify that here, so what we actually need to do is come over to the advanced tab, and this will give us more options. So we have a border radius here. Let's go and put that to 0, and you can see that gives us the sharp edges that Netflix has. Let's minimize this and go to the fields. We have the field background color, field text color, border color. We don't want any border on any of these, even though we can't really see it. We can minimize this and go to the button. Here we have the button style, but we also have the before text icon and after text icon. And if you remember, we have the right chevron right after the text here. So let's go ahead on the after text icon and choose an icon. Let's just type in chevron, and we want the right one. So we'll select this. Okay, there we go. Now let's come back to our blocks and just compare the pages. I don't think there's too much more we need to change. I think the size of the sign in button needs a little bit of work, but let's go ahead and add the background for the header first. And we want to apply this to the section, and the sections are always purple, and then when the rows are blue, and then our blocks are orange. So let's go ahead and get the purple section, go in the settings, and we want to add the background, and we come under background image, and let's select our own image. And I'm just going to select this one right here and add that in here. Under the background position, I'm going to change this to 100% width top, just because it makes it a little bit smaller and not zoomed in too much, as you can see, like the real page. Let's go ahead and select this right button up here, because that does look a little bit too big. So let's come down, change that from a large down to a medium. And then if we come under the advanced, we have more options for the vertical and horizontal padding. So for example, I can make this really tall if I like. I'm just going to bring that down somewhere around there. And I think the horizontal padding is actually pretty close. So now if we compare it, that actually looks a lot better. So two more things that I noticed that we need to add. We have some spacing on top here and on the bottom, and then there's this gray border here. Let's go ahead and add those things. Let's go back to our blocks, and I'm going to grab the spacer block. And this just does what it sounds like. It adds space. So now we can change this. Let's put this up to say 100. And there we go. Let's duplicate this. On the blocks, there's a duplicate block icon. We can click here, drag this right below our form. And there we go. We have 100 pixels at the bottom here as well. Let's go back up to the section settings. Under advanced, we have border. If we come down, we have the border style. We want solid, and we want a border color somewhere in the gray family. Maybe something darker than that. Let's see what 1C is. And we want this on just the bottom, not all four sides. So you can see this link here. And all that means is when we change one, it'll change all of them. So you can see this border around all four sides. We do not want that. We just want it on the bottom. So we'll unlink this. We'll change this to about 8 pixels is my guess. So there we go. We have our header finished. I think that looks pretty good. So if we come down the page, we have these 4 different sections. They're all basically the same, just the image is either on the left or the right side. So let's go ahead and create our first section here. We come back to SeedProd, and we have this little plus sign to add a section. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we want to add our columns. Now, if we look again, we have the image on the right and then the text on the left side. So I'll go ahead and select the 2-column one with the right side being a little bit smaller. Now again, these look like headers to me. So this looks like an H1 and this looks like an H2. So let's go ahead and add those in. So I'll grab my headline, H1, then a second one. We'll change that to an H2. Let's select the first one, the block settings, and I want to align this to the left, and I'm just going to update the text here. So I'll select enjoy on your TV. Again, that was about 50 pixels. And then we have our second one. We'll change that to an H2 here on the bottom, and we'll align that to the left. We'll change the font size to 30, and then we can update the text here. So we'll grab all of this text, copy that, and paste it into here. On the right hand side, we had an image. So we'll go back to our blocks. Let's select that image block, drop it here, click on the settings and use our own image. We'll go ahead and select this one right here and select. And there we go. I think the only thing missing is a little bit of space on the top and bottom. So instead of using the spacers, we can actually just select the section and go to advanced spacing. And then we can change all of that padding to 0. Unlink this. And then on the top, let's add 50. And on the bottom, let's add another 50. And then we'll just do the same thing with that border. We'll come down, change the border color to 1C, 1C, 1C. Unlink, and we just want that on the bottom, around 8 pixels again. All right, great. So there, we just created our first section. Now I'm going to create the second, third, and fourth. So you just basically do the same thing. I'm just going to go a little bit quicker this time. So we'll select this, and we'll have the left side. We have an image on the left. Here we can actually just duplicate these and just drag and drop this here. And the same thing with the second text here for the H1. And now we can just update the text. So we'll just come back. We'll select this text, make sure I'm on the second one. Yep. And I'll just update this. And I'll copy this. And we'll paste that right in here. Lastly, let's just update the image. And select this one. And then we have the section settings. So we'll come under the advanced. And then we'll come down to the padding. Change all of those to 0. Uncheck. We want 50 on the top, 50 on the bottom. So it's the same as this one. And then we can come down to the border and just do the same exact thing. Add that color, uncheck, bottom, 8. So now these go back and forth. The third one, we can actually duplicate this section just to save us a little bit of time. And then we can click the move and bring this right underneath. And there we go. We can just update the text for the third one. So watch everywhere. And I'm just going to do this for the next 2 sections. So if you'd like to fast forward through the video, you can go ahead and do that. But this shouldn't take too long. So let's go ahead and update this. Then we have our third image here. So I'm going to go ahead and update that with another Stranger Things image. And there we go. And then we do the fourth one with this section. So it goes back and forth again. Go ahead and update that picture. This is for the kids, I believe. And then we'll update the text. Create profiles for kids. Update. Change. There we go. It's really, really quick and easy with SeedProd. There we go. We have now our header. We have the 4 sections here. And now we want to build out the frequently asked questions section. And we have the accordion block that we can use for these questions to open so that we can expand them. Let's come back here. Let's create a new section. And this is just a single column. We don't need more than that. And the first thing we want is a header. So I believe it's an H1, so we can just copy this one and bring it down. Let's select this one and center it. And let's just update the text. So this is frequently asked questions. Copy this and update the text. Next, let's go ahead under the blocks and come down to advanced, and we're going to look for accordion. We can find that right here. We'll just drag that right to the bottom. We can see the questions that we can enter into the accordion block. So let's open the block settings. And we have 2 options here. So you can see accordion 1, accordion 2. So if I click on this, you can see accordion 1 is the question and then the answer inside of here. So let's go ahead and do our best and make it look as best as we can or as close as we can to the Netflix one here. So we look like we have the question and then the text inside here is quite large and we have a gray background. You can also notice that this is a times icon and it is aligned to the right. So let's go ahead and try to clone that a little bit. So I just deleted the second question here. Let's go ahead and open and click on the first one. Let's update the text. So it says, what is Netflix? And then we have the answer here. We'll just type in, what is Netflix? And then in the second text box here, we'll just paste that in with the answer. So now if we pop that open, we can see the question with the answer. Let's go ahead and put that font size up. I'm going to guess somewhere around 25 would be okay. That looks pretty close to me. So we can go ahead and use that. The space between is actually the space between each question. So we can look at that when we add another question in a moment. And then we have the icon. So for Netflix, it's aligned to the right side. So we can change that. We have the icon color, which we don't need to change. We have the closed icon. So the plus sign is the same as Netflix, but the open icon is actually with the time. So if we put in times, we want the X here. Select that, and now we have that. Next, let's go into the advanced tab, and I believe the only two things we need to change are the background color and the divider color. So let's go ahead and change the background color. I'm just going to eyeball this. It's going to be a dark kind of gray, somewhere around there. I think that's pretty close. And then we can come back to the content, come up to the top and open accordion, and let's just duplicate that first question. Let's go ahead and close this, and we can see that there's actually this divider bar in between here. So if we come back to advanced, we can see the divider color, and a way to hide this is just to change it to the same color as the background. Now I know we're going back and forth quite a bit, so I hope you're not getting too confused here. Just keep going back and checking the settings. It's quite easy to figure out once you're inside here working on it. So we'll come back to content, and I just want to change the space between. Maybe put this down to around 10 instead, because it looks pretty far apart. And just to speed up the video a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and copy all of these questions with the answers into the page here. And you just do the same thing. Just duplicate this, open it up, change the question, add your text. I'm going to go ahead and do that with all of these. Okay, so there we go. I added all of the questions, and then just one small change that I want to make. I'm going to select the block settings here. Go under advanced, and the header color is a little bit too gray here, so I'm just going to change this to that white color. Now if I click, you can see all of the questions and answers are all set up here under the frequently asked questions. Let's go ahead and select this section and the settings under advanced. Now let's come down to spacing, and let's do the same thing. We're going to change this to 0 on link, and on the top we want 50, bottom we want 50. And we go ahead and add the border, and we want the 1C. Forget which one that was here. That's close. Let's go and put it in ourselves, 1C, 1C, 1C. There we go, and close this. Uncheck, and then on the bottom, we want 8 pixels again. Now we're not done. We do have the box here for the email to collect this and to get started with the little header above here. So what we can do is come up to the top, and you can just duplicate this and duplicate this, and let's just select the drag and drag them down to the bottom of the page. And there we go. We have our text with the block here. Now we do have it full width, so it's not like the top one. What we can do to change that though, we can just add a column. We'll put that right here, a single column, drag this block inside. And then if I select this row, we can change that width. So I'll just bring this down somewhere, I guess, around 500. I believe that's what we had up top. Also looks like there was a little bit of space here, so I'll just select this block here and go to advanced spacing and just add maybe 50 pixels to the top spacing there, so there's a little bit of space in between. And there we go. Our page is almost complete. We have our header, we have all the content here in the middle, and then we have our FAQ, and then a little call to action for the opt-in form for the email address. The only thing missing right now is the footer here. So let me just show you quickly how you can set this up. So it looks like there's actually 5 columns. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, but then it looks like there's a blank spot here for a 5th one. So we can do that by coming down here, add a new section, click on this, and we can just select the 5 columns here, and we can just use 4 of them. And to do that, we can just come back, and you have 2 options. You can use text. You can also put a list in here if you like. So instead of just having text links like this, you could maybe have a little arrow to each link, or maybe a dot beside each link here. So it gives it a little bit more of a design factor instead of just the plain links. So if you don't want the list, just delete that and just use text. You can just bring this in, click on this, highlight all this text and delete it. And then we can select, we have FAQ here. So we'll just put in FAQ. And then you can just highlight this, and there's the little link here inside of the text editor. So you can click on this and put your URL in here. So whatever you want to link to. Now we can just compare the size here. I think it's quite small. So we'll come down to font size, and let's just put this down somewhere around maybe 12, I think looks good. And there you go. You can just duplicate this, and then you have a second link. There's a third link, 4th link, however many you want. You can just keep duplicating that and then updating the text and changing the link for each one. We also have the questions here, so we can copy this. And to add that, we again just add a column. We can put that right above the other one. And this is a single column. We can put some text in here. Select this. Go ahead and highlight all that text and delete it, and just paste in the text that you want to put in here. Come over to the advanced tab. You can change the color if you like to that other gray that we were using. So there you go. I just went ahead and added all of the links in here. And then I think there's just one more thing on the bottom that just says Netflix Canada. So we can copy that. I'll duplicate this row and then I'll drag this row, not the block. We'll take the whole row, put it on the bottom, just change the settings for the text, put in Netflix Canada. And then we can just bring that size down around 12 as well. Definitely not 122. We want 12. And then let's go ahead and select the section, go advanced and spacing. Let's do the same thing here. So we'll put this to 0. And I think instead of the bottom, we'll just put on the top of 50. So just a little bit of spacing here to keep it consistent with the page. And there we go. I think we've finished adding all of the elements that we want. So the next thing I want to show you is if you're creating a landing page, you want to be able to collect the email addresses. And SeedProd will help you with that, but a lot of the times you'll want to connect it to a third-party email marketing service. So in the top left-hand corner here, let's go ahead and click on Connect. And you can go ahead and select one of your favorite email marketing services here. So for example, if Constant Contact, you can go ahead and connect this. So if you already have an account with Constant Contact, you can connect your account and they will provide you with an API key that you just paste in here. You can give it an optional connection name and then you can connect it. And this will now send all of the email addresses from the landing page that you collect to Constant Contact or any of the other services that you see inside of SeedProd. Before we publish our page, let's go under the page settings tab here, and we have general SEO, analytics, scripts, and custom domain. So under general, we have the page title. For this example, again, just using Netflix, the page URL, Netflix, but you can change these here. The page status is set to draft, but we can publish that here. We'll just wait though and do that in a moment after we change our settings. You can publish it under this little drop down here as well. You can show a SeedProd link. This is just a little powered by SeedProd button in the bottom right hand corner. And if you'd like to join our affiliate program, you can click to get 20% commission on all sales. We have an isolation mode here. So if you're using a theme that might cause some type of conflict, you can turn this on and this will prevent conflicts with your theme or other plugins. We also have the Facebook app ID if you have any Facebook integration here that you can paste right here. For your search engine optimization needs, we highly recommend that you install All-in-One SEO. This is extremely powerful search engine optimization plugin for WordPress. And the same thing with analytics. We highly recommend using Monster Insights. If you need to paste any scripts into your header, body, or footer, you can do so here for the landing page. As well, you can set up a custom domain for this specific URL for the landing page. So for example, you have this kind of longer URL, especially if you have a long name, you can take this and link it to a custom domain. And if you need information on how to do that, you can click on the link here to do so. All right, lastly, let's go ahead and save our page here and let's go ahead and publish it. I'll just publish and let's go ahead and see the live page. And there we go. Here's our completed page that you can set up for your own landing page and make it your own. Make sure you change the text, play with the layout, change the images, obviously, add your own FAQ section and update your boxes to say whatever you want for the opt-in forms. So this is the one that we created and here's the original. So here you can see a little bit of tweaks that you'd probably make maybe on the sizing and a little bit of the positioning, but overall I think we did a really great job using SeedProd and we did it in a really short amount of time. If you stuck with the whole video and made a Netflix page, congratulations. I hope you're starting to see just how powerful this plugin can be. Now that you know how to build a Netflix landing page clone with WordPress, let's not stop there. Check out this video on how to build a landing page in WordPress from scratch to really help expand your SeedProd skills for creating fantastic looking landing pages. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.